Huh.
All right, folks, we are back in here. I thought while this was drying, I might as well. Now I got to get my water within reach. Thought I might as well do the super glue stuff on this thing while we're here. So I was watching one of Randy Schartiger, one of his videos, and he was dumping super glue on something. He had masking tape on it, and it ran under the masking tape, and I commented on that I have very good success with the electrical tape. I think it was a Dan Earlywine trick, and I don't know why. I don't know the chemistry behind it, but this vinyl electrical tape for some reason seals against there, and that super glue doesn't run under it easily. I am adding, I'm going to make sure my trigger sprayer is spraying. I'm adding some water right here, and I'm going to let that wick down in that crack, and I have a nice little dam here in the tape that I didn't build on purpose, but it caught a lot of water. So, and I'm just going to double check, make sure all my tape is down tight. I have also, if I don't already have a bunch of other finish to deal with and redo, I'm more careful than this. I might run one crack at a time and run the vinyl tape up each side, glue one crack, and then wait for that to dry, and then move on to another one with separate tape. I'm kind of encompassing about 3 or 4 cracks all in one here, so they're all within the bounds of this tape. I'm not terribly worried about it leaving some residue behind. I am also not so worried about it that I didn't even put a little whip tip on the end of my glue bottle. So I'm just going to apply a relatively liberal amount of super glue there. It's running down in the gap on the tape. It's also running down the dam over here. So it ran over the edge of the tape. So there's enough on there that it could definitely be, soaking into the crack. I know it's not real obvious. The crack's not open. I have actually clamped cracks, dampened them, clamped them closed, and run super glue, and it wicks down into that clamped crack and welds everything together quite nicely. So then I'm just going to wipe any excess right off the surface there of the wood itself, or the lacquer, whatever that is, urethane. And so that's that. We've given that an opportunity to wick down in there, and I'm just going to leave that alone, move all the crud out of my way, and slide the guitar back over here. All right. Cap my bottle. Oh, where did you guys end up at? All right, so once again, get most of the guitar back in the frame. So there's that again. We are just going to peel the excess, or not the excess, peel the tape off. That's it. So that's going to have an opportunity to set up while this is gluing, while that's drying. And then next time I get out here, probably tomorrow night, we'll start sanding the roughness off and filling. They sent me a little bit of brown. I forget what their product is, but it looks like it's just you can put a little of this magic dust, whatever color you need, into the super glue and fill with it, and it looks like a really good product and a really good idea, but they sent me brown, and I obviously need red. So I do have trans tint in the red mahogany, and I will try using that to do these little gaps here where the wood's natural colors showing through. All right, folks. It's next evening. I just taped off a little section up here and put some super glue, some CA in that, and then because I don't want to squirt accelerator right on it, I just squirt some on a Kleenex or paper towel or whatever, and then basically just blew the fumes across it. And although it's all inside, so it probably would have been fine either way. So I got a straight razor here, and I'm going to put my visor down. And I do have a few little ridges and lumps, either where the old finish is separated. On the other side, we have the edge of where, all the way down here, where the finish or epoxy, whatever they used here, has left a ridge. And I'm going to scrape all of that smooth before I start with sandpaper. Don't know, it looks like it was sanded down into the finish here where this discoloration is. I may or may not try to get down to that. I may see if I can just float a little color in the fill and finish glue boost product, and see what happens with that. Over on this side, I have, I'm not sure if this is just residue from the Type-On, regular wood glue, or if this some of the super glue did indeed run over or under. I don't feel any under, but so it could have run over the tape. I'm not sure. So we had the clamp up in this area, so I'm not sure if it ran down or if this is regular wood glue. But I'm just gonna, if I were doing a flat surface or flatter surface, I would tape the corners so that it held me away from being able to dig in with a corner. But since I'm on a radius, I just have to do that instinctually here and not dig in with it, just barely scrape. Because the thing I don't want to do is, if I can help it, is scrape through to the raw wood or through the finish on the edge of the fretboard here. I'm really just trying to get it close enough that when I hit it with the sandpaper, with a block and sandpaper, that it's close enough that it'll take it down evenly. Just trying to get the high spots off. Hello. So.
Hey, Grandpa.
Well, hello there.
I wanted to say hi, but I have to go back out because I have a job to do and I'm doing sprinkles.
All right. So with the ongoing saga of the Epiphone neck repair, I have been through some T20. Well, you saw me scraping with the razor, so I scraped the ridges and high spots. I scraped a lot of this side off with the razor blade, but it had some ridges and weird stuff, and so I got some 220 on it and I sanded it down. You can see you can't see. You can see I'm well into this white spot here is the neck wood. These other white areas, I hope are not white filler, but you never know. It wasn't my repair. And it could just be finish dust, white powder from the finish filling up the cracks. So my side, which had these multiple cracks right up here at the nut, and then down on into here and down there. It was actually relatively level. I didn't have to sand as aggressively there. Once you sand with one grit though, you've got to sand you got to sand down, you know, to a final paper that you are happy with grit wise before you start reapplying finish. So I'm going down to 400 before I apply finish. And so I've been 250, 320, or it was 220 or 250, 320, and then on to 400. And at this point, I'm just, you know, getting the previous scratches out. I was down to here. I was down to about here with 220, went down to about here with 320, and then I'll go past that a little bit, just because I don't want to leave scratches that are coarser than 400 in that. And just sanding it out. I haven't forgotten the headstock. Every time I touch it, I can feel. I got to run some thin CA in there so it goes underneath and welds that. What finishes there welds it back on. I'm really hoping my my red mahogany stain will blend this in well enough that I don't have to do a lot of shenanigans to get the color right. Add a paper towel. Oh well. I'm going to rub this down with naphtha, get all the dust off of it, and then, like I said, make up a wash. I could do that with naphtha too, though, actually. Just a wash of stain, and then kind of saturate that. This little inspection sticker here might have to come off. Okay, once again, I thought I had the camera running. I just had a solution of mahogany red trans tint from Stumac. Color Tones is the brand, and I mixed it up in some denatured alcohol. It didn't give me the desired result. I had areas that were lighter in the wood that ended up just being kind of muddy looking. And these lighter areas are where the wood was actually more exposed through the finish. And then over on this top side, we had a light area right in here that I showed you before was really white looking. That is now just kind of brown, and these other areas are just a little muddier than they were before. I'm going to sand that back a little bit. I don't want to have that muddy look there. And I am going to try to just mix something up straight into the Glue Boost and see what I can float in there. I do have some more red, less mud colored stain. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, so I mixed up some the Glue Boost and some of my red trans tint, and it's just something I got at a paint store down in Reading. They just had a few odd colors of trans tint in bulk, so I got them to pour some in a couple bottles for me. And anyway, so I just made up this I couldn't even see in the lid, so I have no idea when I just dumped some of the Glue Boost in there and some color, and you know what, it just seemed to work out really nicely. Let me get this back over here. Let's see if maybe if I zoom in, but you can see that's obviously the wet areas where the lighter areas on the neck. I rubbed it down with denatured alcohol and took all that muddy looking stuff off. So I've got these little areas that are just basically super glue with the tint suspended in it, and I've gone just over with that Q-tip over the areas that needed some help color-wise. I can't say how even it's going to be, how perfect. I also did. Oh, I got a nice white spot there. I'll have to pick out. I don't know where that came from. Same sort of thing. Right up in here, all this area. Just tinted it, and then I even. But well, I've got this out. I should do the pig head if I can get it into the camera, and it's probably not going to focus that close. But this this area right here, now there's focus. Oh, if I can get it. This area right here had the big gash out of the top, and it really just flowed in there nicely. So I am the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it on a towel, Glue Boost. You can see right back in here. I'm going to take that just on a paper towel. I'm actually shop towel. It's a little softer, more durable than a regular paper towel. And I'm just going to coat this whole area, kind of level it all out, let it dry, and get an idea of how splotchy or whatever it looks. And I'll sand back, reapply color as needed. You know, it's nearly impossible to get these to be just perfect, so I'm not really shooting for perfect. At this point, I've got, you can't see that anyway, over here on the neck, there's a pretty good hole right here and a couple down in here, and so I'll set the guitar up in such a way that I can just drop fill that, and I'll do the sound, just use the Glue Boost for that as well. Yeah, I'm not going to put any more color in that because it's kind of dark down in there, and these as well, so I don't want to add color to them. I just want to, I'll just clear out from there, and they should blend in pretty well like that. So that's it for now. I think I'm going to call it a night. You guys have a good one.